Hello and welcome to a different kind of video. Today it's going to be no live stream. It is a pre-recorded video on the Nations League. The thinking sort of behind it is I'm trying to spread the workload away from just focusing on Twitter and try and pay a bit more attention to my YouTube channel, increase the sort of volume of content going out on this platform. So it's a new style for me. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you do find it useful, and if you do, please let me know. Alternatively, even if you don't, please also let me know. I'm just curious to sort of see opinions. But anyway, 2 Nations League games to cover. The plan is to share 3 bets for each, starting off with Germany against Bosnia. So Germany are very, very short for this game to win, obviously, as expected. They're priced at 1.09 to win. So understandably, sort of player shot prices, things like that, very, very short. So the sort of angle that I've gone for is for duels, starting off with a matchup between Jonathan Tah and Edin Dzeko. So you can actually get Tah to commit a foul and Dzeko to be fouled at 1.88 with Paddy Power, which is a really, really big price actually, considering the same bet is priced at 1.5 with Sky. But it's a fantastic matchup between the two. This bet landed in the reverse fixture when these two sides matched up. And I think it's no secret that Jonathan Tah is a player who engages in physical duels. He likes a matchup, especially against a target man striker, and he will get that against Dzeko. I think those two will be contesting a lot of duels together, especially given that Dzeko is generally a bit more utilised as a sort of hold-up player, target man for his national side. He has a bit of an increased role compared to what he has for club. And because of that, he generally sees a lot of the ball, sees a lot more of the ball, and therefore, if Tah is to be attracted sort of to him, to duels with him, those two should be sort of quite heavily involved together as the game progresses. So looking into Tah's foul data, to really, really stand out, he's made a foul in 16 out of 16 games for Germany, averaging 1.7 fouls per 90. In the Nations League so far, he has 2 fouls against Hungary, 4 fouls against Netherlands, and 1 foul against Bosnia in the reverse fixture. Those 4 fouls against Netherlands came in just the first half, and it was as Tah sort of really struggled against the physicality of Brian Bobby. And Dzeko can sort of be a similar player to that. So really, really liking that matchup. As I say, 1 foul and 1 foul drawn each comes out at 1.88. And I do see the ladder potential here. If we look into Dzeko fouls drawn, you can see he's drawn a foul in every Nations League game so far, averaging 1.81 foul drawn per 90 over the last 30 games for his country. And he's drawn 2 or more fouls in 2 of those 4 games as well. So clearly is a sort of player that is heavily involved. He is a player to target, to draw fouls. And you can get Tah to commit 2 fouls and Dzeko to draw 2 or more fouls at 6.5 with Paddy Power, which I think is a really, really, really good price. That's the first one. Next bet is a bit of a rogue shout, actually. It's for Gazi Begovic of Bosnia to register a shot. This is a strange one, and what we'll do is I'll show you that this bet is priced at 5 to 12 with Bet365, so less than 1 to 2, but Unibet are priced at over 2 to 1, so it's a ridiculously massive price discrepancy, and you do sort of get this kind of stuff in international games. It's a bit they are obviously harder to price. Players like Gazi Begovic, the average sort of casual watcher hasn't really heard of, therefore obviously makes it difficult to price him for a shot. And his data is also very confusing, so I can understand why there is such a big price discrepancy between these 2 books. Unibet generally are just very high, but Gazi Begovic is actually a right back for Bosnia, so based on that information, you'd probably say that 2 to 1 for a shot against Germany away is a fair price, and Bet365 are just ridiculously short. But having a look into his shot data in the Nations League so far, we can sort of understand why Bet365 are so short. So in his last game against Hungary, he had 3 shots before being subbed at half time. He also had 2 shots against Hungary in the reverse fixture, and he had a shot against Netherlands as well. So he's landed this in 3 out of 4 Nations League games, despite playing as a right back. Notably, though, he did fail against Germany. Now, this is one of those bets where it's just sort of you put a bit of small change on it. It's not a lock by any means necessary, but I did want to cover it anyway. If we look into his last game against Hungary at home, we can see that he played as a fullback and was subbed at half-time. But if we look into his shot map, it's particularly interesting because he just sort of tends to shoot from wherever, and I genuinely mean that. So if you can see, from right back, he's had 2 shots in the first minute, and then in the 9th minute, he's had a shot from behind the halfway line, and he's actually gone pretty close. So he's a strange one. This was the only game where he actually played as a fullback. He usually operates as a wing back, and I do sort of see the value in the shot price if he is to start as a wing back again. We'll likely see Germany dominate. Bosnia will probably see very few chances, but Gazibegovic will probably get quite forward if he is to start as a wing back. And obviously, given that he likes to sort of shoot from distance, 2-1 definitely could be worth a play, again, only if he starts as a wing-back. So, one to keep an eye on. You don't really see these kind of massive price discrepancies way too often, but I thought, again, probably just worth bringing up because it was a bit interesting. Going back to the fouls drawn and fouls market, there's another player that has sort of caught my eye for Bosnia, and it is Hadj Radinovic, yeah, this guy. So he's averaging 2.09 fouls drawn per 90 since sort of being introduced to his national side. He made his first Nations League appearance in the last game against Hungary, and he drew 4 fouls playing in sort of advanced midfield role. Looking into his data a bit more, he plays for Kasımpaşa in the Turkish Super League, and he's drawn at least 1 foul in 9 out of 11 games. And he's drawn 2 or more fouls in 7 out of 11 games. So, pretty notable foul data. If we exclude the sort of friendly games from his national sort of appearances, he's drawn at least 2 or more fouls in every game. So 3 out of 3. And he's priced at 3.25 with party power to repeat that. So, that on the surface looks a bit too big. That same bet is 2.1 with Sky. So again, shows the value there. If I'm looking to sort of be a bit safer and just go with sort of 1 foul drawn and pair it with something, what I would suggest is to pair it with a Florian Wirtz foul. Again, very similar to the sort of Tar against Dzeko matchup. I think Wirtz will be in duels with Hadjranovic in midfield, and Wirtz has shown himself to be quite a willing presser of late, especially. So in the Nations League so far, he's landed a foul in 3 out of 4 games, only failing against Netherlands at home when he was subbed at half-time. So if he is to play the 90, really fancy him to make at least 1 foul. He has shown to be a bit more aggressive recently, which is obviously a good sign. Now, naturally, these two won't occupy exact same part of the field if they're obviously both playing as advanced midfielders. But I do like the matchup between sort of Robert Andrich and Hadj Radinovic. Andrich, obviously a very aggressive player. He's averaging 2.11 fouls per 90 over the last 30 games for Germany, so highly aggressive. And yeah, I think those two will be sort of occupying the exact same part of the field, which is good. I would ideally go for the Wirtz foul and Hadj Radinovic fouled. However, I have seen that Wirtz has a slight injury, or he's dealing with an illness, so he's not a lock to start this game. If he obviously doesn't start, I would probably be inclined to just go for Hadj Radinovic 2 fouls drawn at 3.25 with Paddy Power. I think that's a nice price. So that's 3 bets for the first game. Moving on to Netherlands against Hungary. My first bet is a boring one. I apologise. It's for Dumfries to make 2 or more fouls at 1.83 with Sky. I just think the first rule of betting on football, if Dumfries is ever near evens for 2 or more fouls, you simply just have to take it. It's landed in 3 out of 4 Nations League games so far. He made 4 fouls against Hungary last time out, and it sort of makes sense why, because he's on the same side of the field as Roland Shalai, who is a fantastic matchup for drawing fouls. If we look into his data, you can see since the sort of Euros, he's averaging, he's drawn at least 2 fouls in 6 out of 7 games. So he's very heavily involved, likes to duel, and I think it's a perfect matchup between him and Dumfries. Szoboszlai has slightly better data in terms of he's drawn more fouls over the last 30 games for Hungary, but he operates on the opposite side of the field. Now those two are quite fluid in their approach, so we'll sort of touch on that a bit more later. I'd be inclined to go with Dumfries 2 or more fouls at 1.83, potentially pair that with sort of Shalai to draw a foul, to sort of boost the odds above evens, but really liking that price to start off with. Same bet as 1.67 with Paddy to show the value. Next bet is a bit of an interesting one because it was a toss-up between 2 players. I'm interested in the Hungary shots market, and it's 2 players that I always keep my eye on whenever markets release. It is Dominik Szoboszlai and Roland Shalai shots for Hungary. Now, I've chosen one. There's one price that I prefer. So, Shalai is the bigger price of the 2 to register 2 or more shots. He's priced at even money with Bet365. Szoboszlai is 1.83 with Bet365. So very similar prices, but I've gone personally for Shalai. I'll give the reasoning for that, but I'll cover the argument for both sides, just so that you can sort of make a more informed decision. Starting off with Shalai, he's the bigger price. He has the better shot data over the last 30 games. He's averaging 2.69 shots per 90. This bet has landed in 2 out of 4 Nations League games, including against Netherlands last time out in the reverse fixture, where he had 2 shots and scored, and was subbed after 65 minutes. Shalai, I think from the eye test, is the better player to target for shots. He shoots first. If he works a sort of yard for himself, he will shoot, and it can be from distance. So he's much more of like a striker per se than Szoboszlai, which is why I like to target him, and have done so here. The case for Szoboszlai would be he has the higher minutes floor. He's played the full 90 in all 4 Nations League games, which Shalai has not done. Szoboszlai will be on free kicks. He'll likely be on penalties too. The only thing is that obviously he has the shorter price. He's averaging 2.16 shots per 90 over the last 30 games, so his data is a bit more, or is sort of less eye-catching than Shalai. And he did fail this line against Germany and Netherlands in the Nations League so far. He had 0 shots against Germany, 1 shot against Netherlands. So that's something to consider. I've personally gone for Shalai, although I'm not set on the over 1.5 shots at 2.0 just because of his minutes limit. So I'm potentially thinking to look into sort of a first half angle. But there is sort of ways you can work around it, different angles you can approach this sort of bet. So I will be posting that on Twitter and Telegram, what I sort of decide in the end. But hopefully that's sort of enough info for you to make your own informed judgment on what you think is best. Final bet of this game and of the video is for Rangers to register 2 or more shots and Szoboszlai to draw a foul at 1.83 with Sky Bet. With Xavi Simons out, we'll likely see Rangers starting a sort of attacking midfield role with Gravenberch and Frankie de Jong behind him. He's been in excellent form for AC Milan in a sort of similar position, scoring recently against Real Madrid. And last time out, he had 5 shots against Hungary, so it's clearly a good matchup for him. He should see a decent minutes floor without Xavi Simons, hopefully something close to 90. And he's just been in fantastic form at both club level, and he scored 2 goals in the Nations League so far for Netherlands. So he's been one of their standout performers, and I think he is one to target in this game. Pairing that with Szoboszlai to draw a foul. Now obviously I mentioned Shalai to draw a foul. Szoboszlai has the better data over the last 30 games, but we did see a sort of drop off recently. If we look into that a bit more, we can see that Szoboszlai failed to draw a foul against Bosnia at home, and he drew just one foul against Bosnia in the away leg. But he seems to see an uptick in sort of bigger games where Hungary are the bigger underdogs. So we can see he drew 3 fouls against Germany when they lost 5-0, and he drew 4 fouls against Netherlands in the reverse fixture, which I think does inspire me with a bit of confidence. I do like backing Szoboszlai in these kind of games where he will likely see quite a lot of the ball in midfield, and he draws a good matchup against the likes of Gravenberch, Frankie de Jong, etc. So I like him to draw a foul, and that double comes out at 1.83. So again, backable. I think it's good. But that will be all the angles covered for these games. Hopefully the prices hold so as many of you can get on as possible. Again, I would like to invite you to leave your feedback and make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already, as I will try to be more active on this channel. So again, stakes will be on Telegram. Make sure you're joining up. Link will be in the description. But thank you for your support, and best of luck for any bets that you decide to go for.